welcome to Joey Creative Studios. My name is Joey. Today we'll be learning about how to color grade an image I shot yesterday. It was a golden hour image. The picture was shot around 6:30 there. Yeah. So let's drag our picture. We'll be using this picture for today's episode. Okay, so this is our image. I used 5D Mark III, that is the Canon EOS, and then the aperture was 2.2. The shutter speed was 1/8, 1/80 seconds, and the ISO was 160. And then I use an 85mm lens. So we are going to do the basic color grading here, and then we'll move on to retouching this picture. So let's start with the camera profile. As I always do, I always change my camera profile. I always use Adobe Standard. At times too, I use the Adobe Color. Depends on how you want the image to look. So first of all, let me straighten the image. So you come to this side, then I'll try straightening the image a bit. Okay. So I think this is okay. Now we shot the image at 2.2. We couldn't get a very nice sharpness because the Canon 85mm lens, when you use a wide aperture, if you want a shallow depth of field and use 1.8, 2.0, 2.2, 2.5, then you are in a hurry, you won't get a very nice image, or sorry, you won't get a sharp image like that. Yeah, so you can see this image, some part of her face is out of focus, but not all that out of focus, so we can use it for our work today. Yeah, as you can all see. Yeah, so we are just doing the color grading here. That is the camera raw. So let me change this to Adobe Standard. Now you can see we have some shadows opened here. Now let's do the basic adjustment. So I'll start with the highlights. Let me reduce the highlight a bit. If we turn it off, you see that the image is becoming very flat, which is very bad. You see there is a lot of contrast in the image, so we take it up a bit. Yeah. Then let's open up the shadows more, and then let's bring in the blacks. Let's see the before. This is the before and this is the after. Okay, now let me reduce the contrast a bit. I think we should reduce. Okay, now let's add a bit of white to bring out the light. Let's reduce the highlights too. Let's see the before and after, before, after. I think we should take back this. Okay, this is okay. Now we will add a vibrance to this image. If we should add a vibrance, the color will be too much. It's too much. Maybe a little, like 5 will be okay. Now let's add in the haze. Let's dehaze the picture a bit. Now we'll be moving on to the detail part. Let's bring in some sharpness since we couldn't get a very sharp image. So we hold Alt and then mask the sharpness onto the body. So I think this is okay, and then we add in more sharpness. I think 60 will be okay. Let's check. Now this before sharpness, after sharpness, just a little bit of sharpness. We'll add more when we retouch the image, and doing frequency separation to bring in details too, as we all know. Then let's go back to our color mixer. I'll reduce the saturation of the orange, yeah, and then a bit of the reds. So let's see the before. This is the before and this is the after. You will see it's affecting the sky because we have oranges here, yeah, but I'm using Camera Raw 14.0, so I have the option to mask the sky, only the sky, and work on the sky. So I'll go to the masking part and then mask the subject to mask the background and do further color grading there. So if we should bring the luminance of the oranges up, this is what we get. So let's maintain it like that. When we go to the masking part, we will do that. Now I'll go to the color grading. Let me add a bit of blues into the shadows. There's some little blues. This is what we get. So 5 will do. Yeah, let's see the before. Okay, so you will see that we've added a bit of blues into the shadows. Now let's go to our calibration. Let's work on the blue primary saturation. If we should pull it up, this is what we get. So just a bit. If we should pull this up, this is what we get. We won't touch the green primary. Now if we should bring in more saturation to the red, this is what we get. You don't want your image to look oversaturated, so let's maintain it at 0. Now this is the before, now this is the after. Now let's move on to the masking part. So you see we have create new mask, we have select subject, select sky, brush, linear gradient, radial gradient, we have the color range, luminance range. I'll make a video on how to use these mask options very well, but that is not a topic for today. So we'll be working on the select subject and select sky. Later on we will come to the brush, linear gradient, radial gradient, color range, and then luminance range. Okay, so let's start with the select subject. So we will select our subject, then we will work on the subject first. So Photoshop will do the selection for you, and then it will mask the object too. You see that the background will be desaturated because it hasn't been selected. I hope you could all see. So we can start working on the subject. So let's do this and see. Contrast. Okay, so let's see the before, after, just a little bit. Now let's work on the sky. So we can change the hue of the sky using this Camera Raw option here. If you are using Camera Raw 14.0 and above, you have this option to work on. If you have it and you don't know, then there is a bonus for you. Yeah, so let's see. Let's start working. If we bring in more contrast, there is what we get. Let's see the highlights too. So let's tone down the highlight a bit. If we should open the shadows, you see that cloud up there, that dark cloud is open up. So all depends on you, the feel you want. If you add in more blacks, you see that that cloud will become more black. So let's see before and after. So let me bring in more highlights. Before and after. Now we can increase the DAs here if you want to, and then you have the color tool. You can change the tint to whatever you want. You can add in more blues. You see we have a different feel here. If we add in more temperature, you see when we shift it to the yellow side, it becomes yellow because we've maxed out the sky. That is why it's working only on the sky. So let me add in a bit of the magenta to bring out this magenta. This is what we get. So now you can increase the saturation or you can desaturate the image too. So we won't work on the saturation. Before and after. Before and after. If we should change this Adobe standard to Adobe color, you see that you get more blacks in the image. Yeah, you see. So as I said earlier, everything depends on you, the taste that you want. You see that you choose the Adobe standard or the Adobe color. Everything depends on you. Thank you for watching this video. In my next episode, I'll be working on how to retouch this very image. Thank you. Bye bye.